Donald Trump wasn't always a Republican, but did you know he made his first million at just 8 years old? That his best friend was Michael Jackson, or that he was a professional fighter? These are 20 Donald Trump facts you didn't know. And first, this is Donald Trump walking out on stage at the 2006 Emmy Awards, where he showed the world he can sing.
Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Now next up for number 19, I bet you didn't know there's a man that loved Trump so much he sacrificed his own life for him. See, this is Busa Krishna, a 33-year-old man living in India and Trump's biggest fan. See, it all started one night in 2016 when Busa went to sleep and while he was dreaming, had a vision of Trump coming to him and asking for his support. And from that moment on, Busa became obsessed with him, so much so that he started referring to Trump as his god. And to honor his god, he spent a year building his very own statue of Trump to pray to every day.
I carry his picture, and before any work, I pray to him. He's like a god to me, and that is the reason why I built a statue. Every Friday, I fast for Trump's long life.
But not only that, Busa only wore Trump shirts and even wrote letters to Trump weekly, begging to meet him. But in October 2020, Busa's world came crashing down when Trump had tested positive for COVID and was hospitalized. Busa became so concerned that he made a pact he was going to lock himself in his bedroom and he wouldn't eat or drink anything until Trump was healthy and out of the hospital. But after 5 days of not eating or drinking, Busa stopped answering his door. So his family broke into his room, and when they found him, it was already too late. Busa had passed away from starvation, and because his death was so tragic, everyone in Busa's community vowed to keep his Trump statue in honor of him. Now next up for number 18, I bet you didn't know, doctors think Trump is killing himself. See, for his entire life, Trump has stayed busy, but there's only so many hours in the day, and to get everything done, Trump has to make the most of every minute. So for almost his entire life, Trump has been going to bed past 1 in the morning and waking up by 6 a.m. or earlier, leaving him with only 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night.
I'm working long hours, right up till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning.
What time do you get up?
5 o'clock.
Trump's lack of sleep is actually starting to scare doctors, leaving some to believe that one day it'll lead to his death.
There's going to come a reckoning point. For the long term, it is really unhealthy to try to survive on such little sleep.
Now next up for number 17, I bet you didn't know there's an entire town dedicated to Donald Trump. See, this is Boone's Mill, Virginia, aka Trump Town, a place where the population is only 259 people, but they all share one thing in common, their love for Donald Trump. And at the center of the town is the official Trump Town City Hall, open 7 days a week and owned by a man named Whitey Taylor. And this place is a major tourist attraction, bringing in hundreds of thousands of people from all around the country.
Hi, welcome to the Trump Store. Why'd you come in today?
To get some Trump stuff so I can advertise and, support him.
Can only get these here.
See, it's all thanks to Whitey's insane collection of Trump memorabilia. This store has everything from Trump mugshot mugs, flags, bobbleheads, dartboards with Joe Biden's face on it, and mini golden Trump statues. But his best-selling item is something you'd never expect.
What's that?
That's Trump's balls.
Okay.
Now next up for number 16, I bet you didn't know some Trump fans have the weirdest tattoos. See, one guy paid $500 for this.
It just came to me one day and I said I'm gonna get a Trump tattoo and I did it.
Another guy got a tattoo of Trump's assassination attempt, and there's even a woman who got Trump tatted on her forehead.
People are asking why I got this tattoo. At the end of the day, I absolutely love and appreciate what Trump has done for America, and I just feel like he needs to be appreciated.
But there's one man named Zach Cobert who got the worst tattoo of them all. See, during the 2016 election, Zach made a bet with his friends that Trump would lose the election, and if he lost this bet, he'd have to get a tramp stamp of Trump's face. And well, we all know what happened next.
I just wish I was getting a normal tattoo. Something that I wanted.
If I keep losing bets, maybe we'll keep going.
Now next up for number 15, I bet you didn't know Donald Trump owns 14 cars, but isn't allowed to drive a single one of them. See, Trump's a billionaire, so of course, he's got some of the craziest cars out there, like his vintage Rolls Royce, his custom Trump Cybertruck, and craziest of them all, the Trump limo, which is completely bullet and bomb-proof, can drop tear gas, smoke bombs, and slippery liquid to prevent people from chasing him, and his interior is completely decked out in solid gold. But unfortunately for Trump, these cars are completely useless to him, because not only has he not driven them in 9 years, but there's a special law in the US that bans presidents and former presidents from driving. Now look, for number 14, I bet you didn't know how crazy Donald Trump's biggest fan is. See, this is Gene Huber, and Gene's just a regular guy from Florida who sells cars for a living, has a wife, and 2 kids. But in 2017, Gene heard Trump was coming to town, and he knew he had to be the first in line. So this man decided to wait outside for over 16 hours before the rally started in order to guarantee he had the best seat in the house. And his dedication was so impressive, even the news picked it up.
Mr. President, I've been with you for 2 years. You probably heard this. Every single second, every day. I got a 6-foot cardboard President Trump in my house, and I salute that every single day and tell him, Mr. President, I pray for your safety today.
And when the time finally came and Trump was on stage, Gene made sure he was the loudest person in the building to cheer for Trump. Because Trump recognized Gene from the news, and that's when something unbelievable happened.
This guy, he's been all over television saying the best things, and I see him standing, and didn't you get here like at 4 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
Say a couple of words to this guy.
Mr. President, thank you, sir. We the people, our movement is the reason why our President of the United States is standing here in front of us today.
From that moment on, Gene dedicated his entire life to Trump. So he quickly got to work and wrote an entire book on his experience with Trump called The Hug of the American People. He turned his house into a full-on Trump museum and souvenir shop, and every single morning, Gene wakes up and salutes a cardboard cutout of Trump, thanking him for changing his life. Now for number 13, I bet you had no idea there's a statue of Donald Trump worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. See, in 2019, a sculpture of Donald Trump sitting on a golden toilet appeared in the middle of Washington, D.C., and a man named Tommy Zegan was not happy about it, saying it was disrespectful to the president. So Tommy decided he needed to make his own sculpture that honored Trump. And after 3 months of working on it, he cooked up something insane. A 6-foot-tall, 200-pound golden Trump statue. And after completing it, Tommy had to show it off to the world. So he went on to bring it to a convention in Florida. And it became such a massive hit, Tommy decided to make 2 more and even sold them for $100,000.
I thought I could design something that was in better taste. So I designed this. This one here that I take on the road is made out of fiberglass. And third one that I have right now is a bronze one that will eventually be 24 karat gold plated.
Now for number 12, I bet you didn't know Donald Trump went broke. See, in the 1980s, Trump was slowly building his empire with 2 casinos, his very own airline, several buildings in New York City, and a 280-foot yacht, all worth $1.7 billion. But it all came at the worst time, because the country was in a recession, and the property market hit an all-time low. By 1989, Trump's businesses had been pushed into $8.8 billion worth of debt. And this was terrifying, not only for Trump, but for his daughter Ivanka too.
I remember once my father and I were walking down Fifth Avenue, and there was a homeless person sitting right outside of Trump Tower. And I remember my father pointing to him and saying, you know, that guy has $8 billion more than me, because he was in such extreme debt at that point, you know?
Trump could have just given up there, but instead, he evaluated all his options and began making moves, like selling off his airline, going public with his businesses, and renting out his properties, until eventually, by 1987, Trump was not only out of debt, but actually worth over $1.5 billion, which broke the world record for the greatest financial recovery in history.
Back in the 1990s, you owed something like $900 million. Your empire was pretty much
more than that.
You owed more than that?
975 was personally guaranteed. That was just the small part. That was the harder debt. But I owed many, many billions of dollars. And now my company is much bigger and stronger than it was in the 80s.
Now for number 11, I bet you didn't know there's a man making millions of dollars by impersonating Donald Trump. See, by 2017, everyone in the world was trying to do their best Trump impression. But some people took it to the next level, like this construction construction worker in New York who sounded and looked just like Trump.
I go out with my crew every day. They're tremendous people, and we love McDonald's. It's great. I mean, I live on McDonald's and Diet Coke. It's a tremendous diet, and look at how trim I look. I'm the handsomest president in the world.
Or this man who dressed up as Trump and found a couple friends to be Kim Jong-un and Barack Obama. Hell, there's even a man who's so good at Trump impressions, he got on America's Got Talent for it.
We are going to make America's Got Talent great again.
But nobody's Trump impression had a bigger impact than John D. Domenico's, because he'd been practicing his Trump impression for over 12 years as a professional actor in Vegas. And when the impression became popular, John was getting booked for all sorts of gigs, private parties, commercials, even company outings. And he got so popular and got so many bookings, his Trump impression made him a millionaire.
I've been doing impressions since I was 5 years old. I've been doing Trump for 12 years.
Yeah, you must have, I'm going to make a fortune.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was just more that I'm going to have steady work, but this past year has just been
crazy.
amazing.
Well, things are really looking up.
But anyways, we've reached the top 10, which means you're about to see a side of Trump you've never seen before. And I bet you didn't know, Donald Trump was a millionaire at just 8 years old. See, when Trump turned 3, his dad, Fred, started giving him an allowance. I'm talking $200,000 every single year. And this went on through Trump's entire childhood. So by the time he was just 8 years old, Trump was officially a millionaire. The craziest part though, if it was in today's money, Trump would have had $12 million at just 8. Now next up for number 9, did you know Donald Trump getting shot made him millions of dollars? See, in July 2024, after a man tried to end Trump's life, Trump came up with a genius idea to capitalize on the moment, releasing 5,000 pairs of the Trump assassination sneakers. These sneakers featured a picture of him with his fists in the air and the words "fight, fight, fight" on the side. So with each one going for $300 and with them selling out in just 4 hours, this made Trump a total of $1.5 million. Now next up for number 8, what if I told you that Donald Trump's best friend was Michael Jackson? See, back in 1988, Donald Trump was at Madison Square Garden for a charity event, and when he looked over to his left, he couldn't believe his eyes. The king of pop, Michael Jackson, was 10 feet away. So Donald went over to him, started talking about music and what it was like to be a huge star, and the two instantly hit it off.
Well, I knew Michael very well, and he was a special guy. He was with me many, many times, at Mar-a-Lago in particular, and so many unbelievable weekends took place with Michael, especially in Palm Beach. A great, great entertainer, the best I've ever seen.
Michael not only ended up moving into the Trump Tower and became closer to Trump, but Trump started inviting Michael over to his house to hang out and play with his kids. Michael would come over, watch MTV, play video games, build the Trump Tower with Legos, and he even showed up to Ivanka's school performance of the Nutcracker. But when Michael passed away in 2009, nobody missed him more than Donald Trump. Now next up, there's no way you knew about number 7. What if I told you there's one record Donald Trump holds that nobody wants to break? See, you don't become a billionaire without making a few enemies. And well, over the years, Donald Trump's made a lot of enemies, because he's been sued more than anyone in history. From trademark lawsuits, to casino cases, personal injuries on Trump's properties, real estate, basically anything you can think of, Trump's been sued for it. And he holds the record for being the most sued person in history, with over 3,000 lawsuits. But not only that, Trump sued people too. And so in total, he's been involved in over 4,000 total lawsuits. Now next up for number 6, I bet you didn't know, you can sleep in Donald Trump's house. See, this is Trump's house that he lived in until he was 4 years old, featuring 5 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and 14 beds. And it's all thanks to Airbnb. Anyone can stay here for $800 a night. And for any Trump fan, this place is a dream come true, because it's full of Trump decorations, like a cardboard cutout, famous photos of Trump on the wall, and it even comes stocked with coffee mugs of his face. But the weirdest part about this place is there's a plaque in one of the rooms that says, "In this room, President Donald J. Trump was likely conceived by his parents, Fred and Mary Trump." But if you think that's crazy, number 5 will blow your mind, because you'll never guess where Donald Trump has a restaurant inspired after him. See, Trump's not just an icon in America, he's a global icon who has fans all around the world, including a man named Nayyar Zawiti, who in 2016, after hearing about Trump's promises to protect his country, decided to pay respect to him by honoring Trump with his very own restaurant called Trump Fish. Now, while the restaurant only sells one dish called mazgoof, which is just grilled fish with olive oil, lemon, and spices, it's a major hit in the city, and the only way to order it is by visiting the restaurant located in Iraq. Yeah, Trump has a restaurant dedicated to him all the way in Iraq. But Trump's life really is a movie, because for number 4, what if I told you Donald Trump is technically one of the worst actors in history? See, growing up, Donald Trump was obsessed with acting. In fact, his dream was to go out to California and study film at USC. Now, while he went on to give that up to pursue business instead, once he got famous, he came up with a genius idea that would allow him to live out his childhood dreams, because he realized that everyone wanted to use his buildings to film in. So he made a rule that if anyone wanted to film in his buildings, they had to put him in a scene. And it helped him land roles in movies and TV shows like Home Alone, Little Rascals, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Zoolander. But in 2019, Donald Trump received an award no actor wants, because he won a Razzie Award, which is an award show honoring the worst cinematic failures of the year. And that year, he won the award for Worst Actor in a Leading Role, officially making him one of the worst actors in history.
And the 2018 Razzie for Worst Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role belongs to Donald J. Trump as himself in Death of a Nation and Fahrenheit 11/9.
But don't worry though, the man is still talented, because for number 3, I bet you didn't know all the world records Donald Trump holds. See, over the years, Trump has managed to break some of the most unbelievable world records. For example, did you know that he holds the world record for the fastest person to perform a business deal in just 3 minutes? Or how about the fact that he's the highest paid speaker for an event at $1.5 million? What about the fact that he is the most expensive presidential inauguration at $107 million? But one of his craziest accomplishments is being the person with the most searched Wikipedia page of all time, with over 243 million searches. That's 45 million more views than the second most searched person, Elizabeth II. But look, next up, I bet you didn't know number 2, that Donald Trump could beat you in a fight, because he loves fighting so much, he became a black belt. See, Donald Trump always loved fighting. As a kid in high school, he grew up getting in fistfights, and as he got older, he became a huge fan of boxing. In fact, not only did Trump host tons of fights for Mike Tyson, but he also became best friends with Mike too. And in the early 2000s, Trump heard about an up-and-coming league called the UFC, and he decided to help them gain attention by hosting fights and investing in them. And after years of helping the UFC, he befriended the head of the UFC, Dana White. Dana has gone on to say the UFC wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for the help of Donald Trump. Since then, Trump has become a UFC fan favorite, having walkouts at multiple UFC fights, calling fighters to congratulate them on their championships, even shocking the UFC world when he revealed his favorite fighter was Khabib. But in November 2021, we got the most surprising fight news yet, because Trump decided to invite Lee Dong-seop, the president of the World Taekwondo headquarters in South Korea, to Mar-a-Lago to hang out. And despite Trump never getting in a Taekwondo match in his life, Trump received a legendary gift as a token of respect, an honorary 9th degree black belt, the highest level that can be achieved by professional martial artists. And Trump even says, if he's elected president again, he'll wear his belt and Taekwondo outfit in the White House. But look, we've got one final thing you didn't know about Donald Trump. See, I guarantee that you didn't know about the time Trump granted a dying man his last wish. See, this is Jay Barrett, a 44-year-old from West Haven, Connecticut. And in 2019, Jay was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis and was told by doctors he had only a week left to live. When he got the news, he was devastated. But with his life coming to an end, Jay started to think about what really mattered to him. And he realized all he wanted to do before he died was one thing: meet President Donald Trump. Now, for most people, this would be impossible, but Jay's sister Bridget worked in politics and went to social media asking if anyone could help make Jay's wish come true. After hundreds of people saw her tweets and heard about Jay's story, everyone started sending emails to the White House, doing everything they could to get President Trump's attention. But after a few days, Jay didn't hear anything back, and he thought he was going to die without getting his wish. But then, on March 5th, 2019, Jay couldn't believe his eyes. His phone lit up, and he realized he was getting a call from the White House.
Very proud of you, and say hello to your family and sister and everybody, and I'll talk to you again, Jay, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
You keep that fight going. We both fight, okay?
I will do my end. Thank you for calling, and
it's an honor.
Thank you. No, it's an honor for me too as well.
Thanks, Jay.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did I just talk to the President of the United States on the phone?
But that wasn't all for Jay, because Trump also sent him a gift bag with a handwritten card, a campaign rally invite, and a Make America Great Again hat signed by Donald Trump himself.
it makes me feel good, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to sign the hat or, send all this stuff. It's overwhelming.
Jay let Trump know just how much this meant to him, but with his condition being as serious as it was, Jay wasn't able to make it and passed away just a week after having the best day of his life. But before he left us, he recorded one final message to the world.
Time is running out for me, but I'm still gonna be the same person I am. And it lets you know that all set aside, we still bleed red, We come from the same country. We might have different paths in politics, different ideas, but why can't we just get along?
You let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below.